You may not know it now, but there is someone out there whose breakthrough is hidden within your restoration. Someone whose strength will rise when they see how you stood again after life tried to bury you. Someone whose heart will find the courage to keep beating just because you dared to keep going through the darkness that tried to silence you. Jesus, who wept when you wept and bled to make your restoration possible, want you to understand this truth not just with your mind, but with your soul, that your healing is not only for you, it is also the answer to a silent prayer someone else is whispering right now. Someone who feels alone like you once did, confused like you once were, stuck in a war they believe no one sees. And when they encounter your testimony, your scars, your resilience, they will know that I am real, that I didn't just come to save the perfect or the strong or the put together, but that I came for the wounded, the forgotten, the ashamed, the ones who thought it was too late. And I have been using your pain, even in its rawest moments, to shape something sacred that will serve as a beacon to others. Because your healing is a ministry, not just a miracle. It is a voice in the wilderness crying out, "He did it for me, and He will do it for you." And even though you may still be walking through the fire, even though there are days you question if the healing is happening at all, I want you to trust this, that every tear you've cried has been seen, every wound you've carried has been counted, and every ounce of growth, no matter how small, is sacred in my eyes, because I do not measure your progress by perfection. I measure it by surrender, and your quiet yes each morning when you rise again is shaking darkness off your family line. And I'm proud of you, not just for the battles you've won, but for the ones you are still standing in, the ones no one knows about, the ones where you didn't run from the pain, but handed it to me, and I tell you now, with holy authority, that you will not only heal, you will rise, you will shine, you will walk in rooms that once intimidated you. You will speak with power born from pain. You will comfort others with the same comfort I gave you. And in doing so, you will become the very vessel through which someone else's midnight finally breaks in a morning. Because this is how my kingdom works. I take broken things and make them blessings. I take hurt hearts and make them healers. And the very thing you thought disqualified you is the reason I have anointed you. So do not despise your journey. Do not curse the process. Do not look at others and wonder why theirs seems easier, because the oil on your life is expensive for a reason. It was crushed from a deep place for a high calling. And I promise you that the day is coming when your testimony will flow like water into someone's desert, and their soul will awaken not because of your perfection, but because of your obedience, because you didn't quit, because you trusted me even when I was silent. And in that moment, you will understand that every battle was worth it, not just because you were healed, but because through you, I answer the prayers of someone who didn't yet know how to pray. There is a divine reason your journey to healing has taken the path it has. And although it may have seemed cruel at times, slow, winding, heavy, even unfair, what you could not see is that I, the Lord of your story, was authoring every chapter with a greater plan in mind. Because what I am doing through your healing is not just personal, it is prophetic, and I have been shaping every scar into a source of strength, molding every trial into a testimony, stretching every silence into a sacred space where heaven has been working on your behalf. And yes, I know how weary you've been. I know there were days you didn't want to rise again, moments when you felt your soul collapse under the weight of unanswered prayers and invisible pain, but you rose anyway. And that rising, that trembling but powerful rising, is what's sending tremors into the spirit realm even now, loosening chains off people you haven't even met yet. Because I am building you not just for yourself, but for generations, for strangers, for nations, for the souls whose cries reach my throne, but whose hope is flickering. And what I've allowed in your life was not to destroy you. It was to awaken something eternal inside you, something unshakable, something so holy that it could not be formed in comfort. It had to be forged in fire. And that's why I was there in the heartbreak. I was there in the trauma. I was there when they left. I was there when they lied. I was there when you stared at the ceiling begging me to answer. Because even in your lowest moments, I was not absent. I was absorbing the depth of your sorrow and exchanging it for power, exchanging it for vision, exchanging it for a mantle that will rest on your shoulders and call people out of darkness with nothing more than your presence, your honesty, your scars, and the sound of your voice declaring that I still heal, that I still restore, that I still redeem what was lost and breathe life into what others left for dead. And you, my precious one, you are walking proof that pain can produce purpose, and your survival is not random. It is sacred, it is strategic, it is soaked in oil and prepared to pour into others who are still bleeding where you have already healed. And I am raising you up as a lighthouse in the middle of someone else's storm. And they will look at your life and say, if they made it, so can I, because they will recognize the same ache in your story. They will see their reflection in your wounds, and they will follow the trail of healing back to me. And the glory will not be in your strength. It will be in your surrender, because they'll know it wasn't you who carried yourself out of the fire. It was me. And through your obedience to rise and keep rising, I will break off generational patterns in families you've never even met. I will soften hardened hearts that have resisted me for decades, and I will make your life a living message that says, healing is possible, and God has not forgotten you. Because your healing, child, is not just about your wholeness. It is about heaven's plan to answer cries you didn't even know existed, prayers whispered in hospital rooms, jail cells, shelters, and lonely bedrooms. And you'll become the very evidence they needed to keep believing, to keep breathing, to keep seeking me. Because your pain did not come to define you. It came to refine you. And now I'm going to use it to reach the ones who are still waiting for proof that I hear them. And I'm going to let that proof walk into their life wearing your name. Do you truly understand, my child, the magnitude of what I'm doing through you right now? In this very moment, even as you sit here reading these words with trembling hope or quiet doubt still tugging at your heart, unsure if you're truly healing, unsure if you're even worthy of being the vessel I'm speaking about. Because while you question, while you wait, while you try to measure your progress by how loud the pain still echoes or how long it takes for the tears to dry, I am appending heaven and earth to prepare the space your anointing will occupy, not just for your sake, but for the sake of those souls I'm already lining up to be touched, healed, and transformed by your life. And yes, I chose you. Even though you've failed, even though you've doubted me, even though you've secretly believed that others are better suited to carry light, but hear me when I say this. No one is better suited to carry your light because no one else walked through your night. And it is your night, your wilderness, your valley of dry bones that gives your light its power. And that power is about to be unveiled, not in a distant future, not when you're finally better, but now, right now, because even in your healing process, your messy, holy, imperfect process, you carry an authority that hell fears and heaven celebrates. And I will use even your unfinished chapters to set others free, because you don't have to be fully healed to be useful. You don't have to have every scar faded before I begin to pour. You don't need to be polished or perfect or articulate to be powerful, because Jesus, am the one speaking through you, loving through you, shining through you. And I've decided that your scars are not a liability. They are credentials, and they will speak louder than sermons, louder than titles, louder than all the qualifications this world tries to require. Because what the world disqualifies, I anoint, and you, beloved, have been anointed in secret, in silence, in suffering. And now I am turning your private pain into public purpose. And there are people who are on the brink of giving up who will watch your quiet courage, your unshakable surrender, your relentless trust, and their hearts will come alive again. Not because of what you say, but because of who you've become, because of the fire you've walked through and the praise that still rises from your lips. And I need you to know, really know, that your healing is not just recovery. It's revolution, it's revival, it's restoration sent as a gift to people who may never walk into a church, who may never open a Bible, but who will see me through you, through your story, through the tears you cried and the way you loved anyway, forgave anyway, served anyway, believed anyway. And you will be the open door I used to walk into. Their story, the miracle emotion they weren't expecting, the proof that you can be broken and still chosen, that you can lose everything and still carry heaven, that you can feel abandoned by people and still be embraced by God, because that's what I've been doing in you. I've been building something that is bigger than survival, bigger than coping, bigger than just getting by. I've been building a legacy of healing that will ripple through bloodlines, through cities, through generations. And there are children unborn who will thank you for not giving up. There are families that will find hope again because your story made space for the divine. And there are spiritual chains breaking right now. Not tomorrow, not next year, but now. Just because you're still here, still breathing, still believing, still open to me. And I want you to stop underestimating that. Stop downplaying the sacredness of your survival. Because every time you chose me in the dark, every time you whispered, Jesus, help me, even when you felt nothing, even when you felt too weak, I was responding. I was multiplying those prayers. I was storing them up in the heavens. And now, my love, the healing that once felt slow and invisible is about to become undeniable. And through you, through the vessel of your obedience and the fire of your story, I will answer prayers from mouths you've never heard and hearts you'll never meet. Because this is what healing looks like in my kingdom. It multiplies, it outlives you, it becomes a song, a sword, a story, and most of all, it becomes a safe place for others to come home to me. And now, beloved one, as we come to the turning point of your journey, this sacred moment where your wounds begin to whisper wisdom and your healing begins to overflow beyond your own heart, know that heaven is watching with reverence, because the healing I have placed within you is not just for today, not just for your comfort or closure, but for something eternal, something woven into the architecture of destiny. something heaven has planned long before your first breath on earth. And I, Jesus, have been nurturing this miracle quietly in the background while you thought nothing was happening, while you wept, while you doubted, while you considered giving up. And now that miracle is ripening into testimony. And your testimony is becoming a trumpet call in the spirit realm, a sound that will awaken dry bones, a sound that will call home prodigal hearts, a sound that will stop someone from ending their life, a sound that will bring mothers back to prayer, fathers back to purpose, and children back to me, because your healing is not silent. Even when your mouth is, it is speaking in realms your eyes can't see yet, echoing into atmospheres where hopelessness has ruled for too long. And this is why the enemy tried so hard to destroy you, to distract you, to delay you, because he knew that if you ever reached the place where your healing met your surrender, you would become unstoppable. You would become dangerous. You would become the kind of believer who doesn't just survive trials but transforms atmospheres, who doesn't just praise on mountaintops but worships in the wilderness, who doesn't just quote scripture but lives it out through forgiveness, through mercy, through love that costs something, through grace that makes no sense to the world. And yes, that is who you are becoming. An atmosphere changer, a curse breaker, a living sermon dressed in scars and strength. And from this day forward, everything you touch will carry that fragrance of healing, because I, Jesus, have poured myself into you, not just to comfort you, but to commission you. And now I am sending you into a world that is aching for hope, for truth, for something real. And they will find that realness in you. Not because you are perfect, but because you are healed. And there is a difference, because healed people don't just smile through life. They hold space for others. They shine light in dark corners. They speak words that become bridges for others to cross back to love. And I am placing you strategically in rooms, in relationships, in divine appointments where someone will need the exact words your pain once taught you to speak, and they won't know it, but heaven will. Heaven will recognize the sin of your surrender, the aroma of your obedience, the purity of your yes in private when it costs you everything in public. And that's where the miracles will begin, because as your healing begins to overflow, it will awaken healing in others, like fire leaping from branch to branch in a forest long left cold. And this is how revival spreads, not through the loud or the proud, but through the broken who are brave enough to be rebuilt by my hands. And you, my beloved, are that brave one. And I tell you now, as the King who never wastes pain, that you will walk into seasons of restoration so profound that you will forget what it felt like to live in survival. You will step into rooms where people feel my presence before you even speak, and I will give you new strength, new clarity, new joy, not just for you, but for everyone attached to your obedience, because there are still souls hanging in the balance, waiting for a sign, praying for a miracle, and you are that miracle. You are that sign. You're the answer I've been preparing in silence. And the door I'm about to open will not just elevate you, it will empower you to elevate others, because healed people heal people. And you, my child, are about to become someone's proof that the grave they were walking toward is not their final chapter. And their tears, like yours, are not in vain, because I collect every single one. I redeem every moment, and I restore everything the enemy tried to steal. And your story, yes, your story, will shake the very gates of hell and bring heaven closer to earth.